Morning, fam. 4th of July, 2024, year of our Lord. So, a lot going on in my readings this morning. Read Luke 14, 15. No, not 14. 15, 16, and 17, and John 11. And honestly, John 11 seemed to be a little premature because I in my reading, I am getting really close to the triumphal entry in both Luke and John, but I think in Matthew and Mark, I'm still kind of farther back. So, anyways, that's all just editorial comment, little bonus for you. Um, Crazy amount of stuff going on in Luke and John this morning. It starts in Luke. It starts with the parable of the lost sheep, the lost talents, things that lost coin, denarii, and that and and then ends in the parable of the prodigal son. And so, what the lost sheep and the lost coin talk about is the fact that God celebrates and heaven celebrates when a sinner is saved. I mean, that's what it's all about, and so his point in these parables is that hey, there's it's great that there are people that are righteous, but when somebody is saved, that's like the miracle, that's the transformative event, that's the cause of celebration. Um, and then it goes in the prodigal son, and the prodigal son, it kind of bridges the gap between the lost coin and sheep, and then the unfaithful stewards. Because what the prodigal son does is it takes those two parables and mediates them. So he talks about the son who goes away, right? Takes all of his inheritance, goes away, squanders it, comes back to, and the father lovingly runs to him, embraces him, kisses him, has a big feast, right? So because he's the lost son and he's come back, he's been saved, right? Is the picture there. Well, oftentimes what we focus about is the other son, the son that is ungrateful and is like, well, Dad, I've been with you all this time and you've never thrown a big old party for me. Why? What's going on? And so that's the turn in the story. The and the father tells him, well, you've always been here, but your son, your brother now is saved, and so we celebrate that, right? And so that's tying up the two previous parables, and then leading us to the second one is the faithful son's response. So the son that's always been there. And oftentimes we look at that and we think that that's like us, right? Which it is, right? Because we're like, well, hello, God, I'm sitting here doing the things that you want me to do. I'm going to church, I'm giving, I'm serving, I'm reading my Bible, I'm praying, I'm doing all this stuff. And yet, where's my blessing? Life is not great. And then, some random guy gets saved and all the world celebrates and all of that. And we feel that. And so that's when Jesus goes into the parables talking about the unfaithful steward. And and the point there is that we need to our focus is wrong, right? When we feel that way, our focus is on ourselves. We could be celebrating with the Father when the lost sheep is found, and when the lost coin is found, and when the prodigal son, the lost son, returns and is saved. That should be our focus. We should be sharing in the joy of that, right? Um, and we should also realize that our task now is to be faithful with what he has given us. And that's where the parables of the parable of the unfaithful steward and so on come in. Is that our task is to be faithful with God's given us, to cause what he's invested in us to grow. And the ultimate result of that, obviously, is more people saved. Um, so just a great passage. And then in Luke 16 and 17, we get into the parable of the rich man and Lazarus. Um, Jesus just kind of commanding his disciples more, um, and kind of preparing them for his return, not knowing, the when he's going to return. He goes into talking about, like in Noah's time and in Lot's time, and that they didn't the world didn't know that something was going to change, right? They were going about working and marrying and doing the things that you normally do, and then all of a sudden there was a flood that killed everybody. All of a sudden there was fire and brimstone on Sodom and Gomorrah that killed everybody. All of these things. And that's his point, is that life just goes on. It's crazy right now in 2024, especially during election season where we sit right now, or we're heading to. It's craziness going on in the world, but that stuff's always going to happen, right? World is just going to go on and on and on. And then at some point, Jesus is going to return in a flash of like a flash of lightning. It says in Luke 17. And like the lightning lights up the sky, and then it lights up another place. That's what the return is going to be like, just out of the blue. And so we got to be ready. And then we have to celebrate when people come to Christ, even if it takes the attention off of us or whatever, because that's what it's all about. And that's why we're being faithful with the things we're being faithful with. Well, that was all Luke. John 11, I read that too. And I'm not even going to get into that because that's going to make this way too long. But that's it. I'll talk to you later. Bye.